What's up guys, in this video, I'll be ranking every named Fortnite location in Chapter 6, Season 1. Keep in mind this is all personal opinion, so if you disagree with anything, just let me know down in the comments. There are currently 18 named POIs, and I'll be ranking them from worst to best. Let's go for 20 likes on this video. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Coming in at the number 18 spot, in my opinion, the worst location on this new Chapter 6 map is Shining Span. I honestly completely forgot about this location until I looked back on the map to make this video. I only landed here a few times this season, and I honestly think it's really bad. It feels like it shouldn't even be a named location. The bridge does look pretty cool in all honesty, but I think it's just a very weak named POI. Also, whose idea was it to make this bridge a named POI? It's just a bridge. At the number 17 spot, I have Brutal Boxcars. This place sucks, not as much as Shining Span, but honestly, this place is not good at all. It has some metal, which I guess is a plus, but the loot here just isn't good. The only way you can have an excuse for dropping here is if you get on train when it arrives, because then you can get the mythic AR, but otherwise this place honestly sucks to drop. Also, one more thing, this location is super small. I think it might be one of the smallest named POIs ever. At the number 16 spot is Foxy Floodgate. This POI is very underwhelming, with the only upsides being where the position it is on the map and the amount of metal there is there. You should be able to walk out of this place with max metal if you walk out, because this is the most awkward location to rotate out of and fight in. Like, I've died to people camping in the little sewer, and these fights here are just so awkward. Coming in at the number 15 spot, I have Pump Power. The problem with this POI is the chests are in kind of weird spots, and fighting here is just never nice. There's also a ton of hiding spots where kids can hide in. I dislike this POI so much for some reason, and I just never want to land here. The only up I would say there is to this POI is there a lot of metal, but that's pretty much it. At the number 14 spot, we have Wiffy Wharf. Wiffy is basically just a bunch of houses crowded close together over water. In my opinion, this POI is actually pretty decent, and I don't mind landing here. The reason why it's low, though, is because of how far it is from Circle. Some games you will be running from Storm all game if you get a bad pull. At the number 13 spot is Magic Mosses. Magic Mosses is a decent POI, and I think it's not bad to land at. It has alright loot if you land at the 3 main little houses. This location isn't bad by any means, but it isn't really good either, which is why it's number 13 on this list. At the number 12 spot is Hopeful Heights. I think this location looks nice, but honestly doesn't have that much loot. It has 22 chest spawns, which is decent for how small the location is. But if you're contested in any team game mode, I think it's not worth to land here because of how small it is. I do think it is a pretty good place to land at in solos because it does have a decent amount of loot, all pretty close together. At the number 11 spot is Warrior's Watch. This place is a pretty good spot for solos again, but not a very good one for trios or squads. The main building is pretty much where all the loot is, and in trios it's really just a 50-50 to see who can get a gun first. And whoever gets the gun first pretty much wins the fight every single time. But for solos, as long as there isn't too many people landing here, you have time to get loot and have a normal fight. Although, only thing about fighting this POI is the build grid is kind of weird, especially in the main building. Starting off the top 10, I'm going to get so much hate for this one, but the number 10 spot is Bird. Okay, hear me out. Before disliking the video and never returning again, Bird only has 22 chest spawns, which is decent, but has no katana spawns. A good thing about this location though is there's a slurp truck, but it's kind of in the open, so if you're fighting on spawn and try to get it, you might get beamed. I think it's a decent job for solos, but not good for trios and squads, because if you're con, you might be cooked, because 6 people have to split this pretty small POI. At the number 9 spot is Nightshift Forest. I do really like Nightshift because not all the loot is just in the main building, but there's a lot of it at like the big tower and the 3 small houses. There's also just a lot of loot around the forest. Also, another great thing about this location is there's slurp barrels all around it. There's 40 slurp barrels around this POI, and that's not including the vault that's at this location. This spot is great for pretty much any game mode, and I do recommend landing here. Next up at the number 8 spot is Flooded Frogs. Flooded Frogs has decent loot, but the main problem is how far it is from Circle. Also, the fights here are just so awkward because of the bad build grid it has. I don't really have much more to say about this location. It just has okay loot and is pretty far from Circle. At the number 7 spot is Lost Lake. I think this spot has a pretty good amount of loot and it is center map, which gives it a lot of bonus points. I really don't have many complaints about this shop. It just has less loot compared to all the other drops on this list. At the number 6 spot is Shogun Solitude. This place has good loot and I actually do like landing here. The problem with it though is where it's located on the map. It's all the way on the bottom left corner of the map, and if you don't get a good zone pull, you will be running from zone all game. Another plus of this POI is it looks so cool with the red ground and trees. I think it might be one of the best looking Fortnite POIs ever. Starting off the top 5 is Demon's Dojo. Another place of good loot, just like Shogun Solitude. But again, the problem with this place is where it is on the map. It's located all the way in the top right corner of the map, so if you don't get a good zone pull, again, you'll be running from Storm. The reason why this is higher on the list than Shogun's is because this place has one of the 2 new medallions you can get. At the number 4 spot is Canyon Crossing. I love this drop for multiple different reasons. This drop is like a small village on each side that is connected by a bridge. I think this drop looks really cool, and the reason why I like it is 1, there's good loot, and 2, after you're done looting, a lot of the times you will end up fighting in the middle if someone else landed on the other side of this location. Starting off the top 3 is Meadows. I do really like this drop because it has good loot and the loot is kind of packed together. This was actually my first place I dropped at in the new chapter and it did not disappoint. I don't have much more to say about this drop besides it's definitely one of the best drops on the map. At the number 2 spot is Twinkle Terrace. This place is an insane 44 chest spawns all close together. It also has an elemental chest and a katana spawn. I absolutely love this drop. It has so much loot and is easily one of the best drops on the map. The only downside to the spot is it's not in the center of the map, so you gotta hope you don't get a really bad zone pull. At the number 1 spot, in my opinion, the best location on the Chapter 6 map is Seaport City. This place has 60 chest spawns. 60! That is an insane amount of loot. It also has 2 elemental chests and some slurp barrels. And a katana spawn. This place could be conned by 15 people and you could still manage to get decent loot here. This is easily the best drop on the map. Another plus, it is pretty close to the center of the map, so you shouldn't have to travel too far to go to zone. Alright, that's going to wrap up this video. If you did enjoy, make sure you like and subscribe because I will be uploading a long form video, at least 1 YouTube short, and a live stream for the rest of winter break. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subs by the end of winter break, so a like and sub would be greatly appreciated. Alright, that's going to pretty much wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.